Sarah Dacus says, Scotty, what's your opinion on Walmart brand SuperTech 0W20 oil? Is it?
So here's the thing. I'm going to react to this blindly. I haven't seen this video yet. The reason is me and my sister were actually talking about buying the SuperTech. This exact one, actually. The 0W20 full synthetic, just not the high mileage. So this video is actually applying to my personal life.
Well, it's excellent oil. See, understand one thing. Walmart doesn't really make anything, right? So their oil is made for Walmart by an oil company. If it's sold in the United States for cars, it has to meet certain specifications, as all oils that are legally sold in the United States have to. And I'm sure it's perfectly fine. Walmart just gets a phenomenal deal so they can sell it cheaper, right? Some company makes it, puts their name on it. I mean, as for example, you go to a Toyota dealer, I want Toyota engine oil. You get a bottle that says Toyota engine oil, right? Toyota doesn't make engine oil. They buy it from somebody else. So there's nothing wrong with that oil. It's perfectly fine oil. Alexander Huskin says, what are your thoughts on the new electric cars coming out? Well, it's fascinating technology, right? It is fascinating technology. I personally wouldn't buy it because I don't think they have it proven yet that it's going to last long enough. There's no place to charge it up. There's no electricity that's generated to supply the power to them. But it's fascinating technology. I have two special new scan tools that I'm trying out that do electric vehicles, right? The companies gave me them and I'm trying them out. Somebody's going to have to fix these stupid things when they break, right? And I do have to say, I got to drive a brand new 2023 Volvo electric car. First all-electric one they sold, and I was totally impressed. If it had been an electric car,
So here's the thing. It's not about whether or not they're impressive or not, because we all know that the electric vehicles are impressive. The question is are they affordable? Are they giveable? Are they, maintainable? The maintainable is what we want to know.
Say, hey, maybe I'll buy one of these, but I'm not a fan of electric cars. I do a lot of long distance traveling. I don't want to spend half my life looking for a charger. My wife hates worrying about is there enough fuel in the car, and if she had an electric car, she would have range anxiety up the wazoo, and I would too, because I rented a BMW electric car when I was in Rhode Island last time, and I had nothing but range anxiety the whole time. I'm looking like, oh, Jesus, run out. Can I make it where I'm going? The technology is phenomenal, very interesting, but it's expensive to make, expensive to repair. We have no idea what the actual battery life of these things are. Let's say the batteries are good for 8 years and it breaks, and then you find out it's a $15,000 battery. Well, that kind of
that right there, maintainable. It's not maintainable. Maintainable. Is the vehicle maintainable? No. Not for the normal everyday poor man.
Thanks, I generally buy cars for $2,000-3,000 and drive for hundreds of thousands of miles. Certainly not going to buy a used electric vehicle with a dodgy battery. GP says, I'm shopping for an SUV car. Do you think the Toyota Corolla Cross is good? I know you say the RAV4s and CR-Vs. Which is better? What do you want? I had a customer bring me a Toyota Cross. I was impressed for its size and what it is. You might want to also look at the Toyota Corolla hatchback. Right? It's basically a Toyota Matrix. They stopped making Matrixes, and then Toyota didn't want to make themselves even more foolish than they already were by getting rid of models and bringing them back. So instead of calling it the Toyota Matrix, they call it the Toyota Corolla hatchback. That's, for example, the original Toyota Matrixes were called Toyota Corolla.
So if you guys don't understand the Toyota Corolla hatchback, which I understand a lot of people probably won't, the Toyota Corolla hatchback is like a Chevy Spark or a Chevy Trax, okay?
The Matrixes. Then he shortened it to Matrix. So, and that's a really good car too, There's nothing wrong with the Cross. My advice with those vehicles are, go look at them and road test them at a dealer. See which one you like and what you want to pay for, and then go from there. They're all excellent vehicles. Some people might think, oh, this ride's rough, or this is too small, or this is too big, I can get a smaller one. Decide what you want, then look at them, and they're all good decisions, really. Here's a hilarious thing about fleet cars. Nelson Moran says, you gotta hear this. How they're trying to screw him over fixing his rental car. It's a fleet, so it's a lease, right? There's Scotty. I'm a salesperson. I drive a fleet car. 2020 Escape, 82,000 miles. I called them to say my rotors are bad and my brakes squeak. They sent me to the dealer and said, yeah, you need new rotors, but they're not changing the pads because they're still within specification. It's going to cost them over $600 to change the rotors, and they won't fix anything. This is too funny. That's the problem. When there's companies that have to warranty stuff, they're going to go as cheap as possible. Now, let's all put our thinking caps on. The brake pads squeeze the rotors, right?
Make sure you put on your helmet for this.
rotors are worn out and warped. Well, guess what? The brake pads squeeze the warped rotors. They become warped too. Well, the brake pads are within specifications. They're still thick enough. Yeah, but they're warped, you know? And then it'll still have problems, and eventually you'll hit the brakes, the steering wheel will start shaking again because the pads are warped and they put them on flat rotors, but the pads are still off, right? Maybe it'll pull to one side or the other. Who the heck knows? But it just shows the stupidity of these things. It's a lease car, so he didn't have to pay for the repairs. Took it to the dealer, and the dealer, when they get any kind of warranty, they don't make any money, so they don't want to put anything in. I can get a set of brake pads for that car for $29. Why would they do a $600 job to save $29? It's beyond me, but that's how it goes with warranties. And anything that they got to fix for free, they're going to do the crappiest job, the cheapest way they possibly can, because they're not making any money, and they want to make money. It's a dealership that it's leased at, right? So the dealership doesn't want to tie their mechanics up on jobs where they don't make money, so they just whip it out as fast as you can. Oh, next. That's why you don't want to deal with warranties most of the time, because they're going to screw you over. Zach Baines, and he says, do Honda Accords and Civics need to have their engine valves adjusted every so often when new? As they age, yes, because they're kind of an old design. The Americans ages ago went to hydraulic lifters. You never have to adjust the valves. If the lifters go bad, you got to replace them. But the Japanese vehicles, a lot of them still have manually adjusted valves. But the Hondas are an old style. There's the cams, and then they have rocker arms. Then they have little bolts, 2 bolts, and a screw that screws in and out. You loosen the bolt and you adjust them to adjust the valves. Well, those have a tendency of wearing out faster than, say, a Toyota that will have cams, a lot of them, sitting on top of stainless steel shims, and the stainless steel shims are what move on the cams. Theoretically, they need adjusting too, but hardly anybody ever does, because you got to take the engine apart, measure the shims, and then buy shims that are the different size to compensate for the wear, yada yada. Very expensive, labor-intensive process. But take my 94 Celica. The valves have never been adjusted, and they're still within specs. I checked them a few months ago, so you don't really have to worry about it. But the Hondas you do. Then again, they really don't need adjusting until they get 60, 80,000 miles or more.
I'm surprised that he said Hondas, though, because he used to swear on Hondas.
On them. But they do need to be adjusted every once in a while. Damien says, Scotty, should I buy this used Land Rover? I found a 2019 Range Rover Evoque with 30,000 miles to the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. What do you think? I'd never buy a Land Rover. They're English piles of junk, you know? I mean, 30,000 miles isn't much. And with a 4-cylinder engine, they're underpowered. Those are pretty heavy vehicles. You put a 4-cylinder engine, they don't have enough guts to get them going. But they're English vehicles, and they fall apart. I mean, they're just terrible over time, you know? Now, they made pretty good vehicles 40 years ago. But not anymore. They're just endless money. People buy them because it's kind of a yuppie snob thing, you know? Hey, I've got my Land Rover, ooh. Believe me, if you don't want to spend money fixing them and get stranded when it breaks, don't get a Land Rover. Well, solar panel production has reached new records. Unfortunately, most of it is in China. China has 80% of the manufacturing of solar panels as it stands. And if you want the measly bit of power that it does in the United States, last year, 2022, a little over 3% of the electricity came from solar cells. And if you
3% is gonna fix the world. The world is gonna be great again. Okay, I'll stop.
ask me, that's probably even an overestimation of how much it is. Now, here's a picture of a bunch of solar cells in China, and the Chinese are bragging that, oh, they're installing a bunch of them. But really, most of the electricity in China comes from burning coal, and as far as I'm concerned, this is mainly a PR for China, right? Oh, look, we're going green. They're not going green. They use tons of coal. They got lots of coal there, right? Now, the Europeans are importing a bunch of these solar cells from China. One problem with solar cells are they take up an inordinate amount of space to generate enough electricity to do anything, right?
Well, here's the deal, guys. I just wanted to talk about the oil, and clearly, you know, like he said, the oil is oil, okay? At the end of the day, it's oil. But yeah, that's going to conclude this video.